I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We are joined by Kelly's Kranium. Hi.
Hey, hi. Thank you so much for having me on.
I appreciate you coming on. Kelly, please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, my name's Kelly's Kranium. I am a bunny VTuber who does variety. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I just freeball it throughout the entire time I'm streaming. I've been doing it for 2 years, and I'll be doing it for the continuation future.
Sometimes it's nice to not have any plans at all. Just randomly careen your way through life.
Yep. Fake it till you make it. That's basically my motto.
Well, you've been doing it, this VTuber part, for how long now?
Oh gosh, why are you making me date myself, Eric? Probably a couple of years now, about a year and 2 years and about 3 months now.
Yeah. So, what made you choose to do the VTuber thing? I mean, we talked a little bit before, and let folks know that you did some streaming before, but this is a different concept, obviously.
Yeah, so VTubing for me I was already really interested in VTubers personally. I was just interested more about the technology behind it and how it all works.
Yeah.
So I kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole anyway, like looking into it. And then I realized, hey, if I become a VTuber, I can stream whilst wearing my pajamas and no one will know.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's a win-win situation.
I still get to go on, and I don't have to clean up. That's the best way to do it.
Exactly. I don't have to do my hair. I don't have to do makeup.
Yep.
I can stream in a onesie. It's great.
Yep. Exactly. And the great part, one of the many great parts, is the casualness that you can do it with. Not having to primp up for 2 hours and make sure everything behind you is clean up and ready to go. Allows you to be as comfortable as possible, physically anyway, to turn on that microphone and go. I think it's underrated.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Some people use it to they like being the kind of anonymous that way, which is very valid for a lot of folks. But
yeah, I think being anonymous, it definitely helps with it because you're able to separate like the VTubing with your personal life. So that definitely helps.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it was definitely more, I guess, the ease of it rather than anything. And I know that a lot of VTubers will turn around and be like, what are you saying? It's easy. It's really not, because you have to have about 10 different like applications open on your poor computer that also is running a like 60 FPS game and everything like that, and you're just like, shit, baby, it'll all be over soon. And you're like stroking your computer, saying it's only a 2-hour stream, like you'll be fine. But I think for me, it's definitely the ease of like just jumping on, and also I think the consistency of it as well. Like the viewers, like the consistency of seeing like the same character every single time, rather than one day. Like I know that some people, for example, some IRL streamers, they wear like wigs. So 1 minute you can have like a black hairdo, the next minute you can have a purple hairdo, the next minute you can have a blonde hairdo. So I think like my viewers really do like that consistency.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole wig thing. I've worked hard to lose my hair. It's a lot easier.
I put effort into this, damn it.
That's right. I want you to know my pain.
Yes.
But it's always, your mileage may vary when it comes to how people approach doing this, which is one of the great things about these interviews, is that I get to learn all sorts of different reasons. Were you always somebody who liked to be on stage and being an entertainer type person?
Yeah, actually, oddly enough, I used to live, as you can probably tell from my accent, I used to live in Britain. So I am a British national, but now I live in Norway. And when I was back in Britain, I actually used to have my own radio show in my local area. So I loved being an entertainer. I loved sort of just talking about anything and everything.
Yeah.
And when I moved, I kind of missed that entertainment aspect of it.
Right.
But in my day job, I work as, I guess, in learning and development.
Mm,
So I go into companies as like a consultant and I stand up in front of people and teach them how to do things in their jobs,
mm.
which I guess, again, is kind of entertaining in a way. So I've never been afraid to stand up in front of people and sort of do public speaking. It's been something that I've always had a flair for. And my community will tell you I love to yap. I think that's just a VTuber trait.
Yeah, it does. Even the folks who say that they're reserved, and once you crack that open just a little bit,
Oh yeah.
it runs all over the place. I
Yeah, it's
could
like a dam.
Yes, exactly. So I've always been fascinated what local radio was like in England. I mean, nowadays radio over here, and I was in it for 35 years. Um,
Oh, awesome.
ye- yeah, it's pretty much local radio is pretty much dead here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Computerization started it, and COVID finished it. Um,
Yeah.
but and we have a different system over here, obviously, than they do in Great Britain with
Hmm.
you know, commercializing things, and there's a whole different system. I've always been
Hmm.
fascinated by that. Were you like running a talk show? Were you doing music? What were you doing?
I was doing a bit of both. So my show was actually orientated around gaming and
Mm,
talking about like what was releasing and trying to make gaming accessible to I think all ages as well.
yeah.
Because one thing we really noticed was that there was like generational differences when it
Mm,
came to digital gaming and board games and
oh,
things like that.
oh yeah.
So it was trying to basically get the older generation to appreciate digital games and digital art, and also get the younger generation to appreciate that the older generation were the ones that started up gaming, and that's where gaming actually came from. So it was trying to bridge that gap.
Yep.
So there was a lot of I did a lot of music that was related to gaming.
Mm,
So I would look at sort of like games throughout the decades, and I'd be like, oh yeah, so now we're going to play this song, which you'll actually find in this game
yeah.
if it's something that you're interested in.
Right.
But then also I would get people on for interviews. So I'd get things like game developers or even like reviewers on to talk about like how did they get into the review business,
Mm,
because it's something that like gaming is such a big sector nowadays. I mean, it brings in more income than the movie and the film. No, the movie and the music industry a lot like together.
oh yeah.
So there's a lot of people who want to get into it, but they don't really know how. So getting those people on and being like, well, this is what you can do and this is how you can get into it, really like got people interested in the show. And it was great to hear like some really good feedback from people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know this too, that once you get somebody started on something that they are extremely interested in or enjoy doing, the questions form themselves.
Oh
And
yeah, absolutely. Like it will roll so easily.
yeah, and the audience enjoys it because you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's a big triangle effect there. And the I think I smiled through the entire thing you're talking about the older generations, because
Hmm.
I tell the folks here that my first console was Pong, and that's exactly true. We had a Pong
Oh
system
my
in
gosh,
my
that's so
house.
cool.
We had a Sears Pong game, and it was called Pong, and it had the
Nice.
and we played the heck out of it. I was part of the
Mhm.
generation over here that put all the quarters in the uh, Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and all that
Ah,
stuff.
like the old school arcade
Oh yeah,
machines.
yeah. We kept our
Cool.
arcades going as long as we could. Um,
Nice.
heck, so I mean, we're not. I mean, I'm not going to keep up with my grandson or anything, but
Mhm.
if he gets too lippy, I got to show him who did the old school Mario.
Yeah, like on the Game Boy, like Super Mario Brothers and all of that lovely that like sort of quote unquote older school stuff.
Oh, even older, I had the NES Super Mario.
Yo, that's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah. I actually beat that game at 4 o'clock in the morning, and
I
and
love how you remember the exact time
I
that you beat it as
I do
well.
because I wanted to call somebody, and they got mad when I did. You don't understand. I just beat Super Mario.
Yeah, you're just there going, celebrate with me. I don't care that you're half asleep. Be happy for me. Like,
Don't ever do that again. It was such fun. Um, but it's it's the type of games are so different now, though. I mean,
Hmm.
having fun on the NES is one thing. Playing Call of Duty is a different thing.
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I don't quite have the twitch muscles to keep up with a lot of
Mm,
these games, let alone the eye to keep up
mm.
with it. But there's still so many great. You you talk to the game developers, and there's so many great indie game type things out there
Oh,
too.
yeah.
And that is, I think, a brilliant thing, a brilliant industry. Games like Undertale,
Oh, yeah. I love
Star
that game.
Stardew Valley, for crying out loud. I mean, that's
Yes.
gonna go on. I have 30 save files of Stardew Valley.
We don't go into how many save files you have for Stardew Valley and things like that, and all the mods and all of that stuff. We'll
Oh,
we'll go down a rabbit hole.
oh, I need to go to work sometime. So I try to stay away from it as much as possible. But it's if you look at the other fields you talked about with really a game, if you're an independent person, you come up with a good game and a good concept, you get a lot more mileage out of that than you would say trying to do your own independent film.
Hmm.
There's-
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and you could have it spread and have it distributed by Steam or some
Hmm.
company. Now you've really got
Well, I
worldwide
mean,
distribution.
if you look at, for example, Balatro,
Mm,
that was a one-man band
hmm.
essentially,
Yeah,
for a long time, and I believe then it turned into a two-man band. But if you look at the absolute success that that has just gotten and the reach that it's got from being a funny little card game on Steam to now being ported over to mobile and now having like such talents like Ben Starr in its like advertisements
yeah, yeah,
to now winning such prestigious awards, like that just goes to show that from a one man band to be able to do everything like that, imagine then trying to do sort of that independent film. You would need so many different sort of what we say like fingers and pies. You would need to know sound design, you'd need to know graphic design, you'd
yeah,
need to have the actors, and there's so much more that goes into independent filmmaking
yeah,
than does into game development. And I'm not saying like they're sort of exactly the same. I mean, you're comparing apples to oranges, but I feel like the payoff you get from being an independent game developer is so much better
mm,
than you would from being an independent film distributor or an independent film director,
yeah.
because you really get that sense of I did that, that was me, I'm the one who created this, I coded it, I created the graphics, I did all of this, and you really get that like validation back, which I feel is really good.
Oh yeah, I knew a fellow that actually went to school with my wife, who Hollywood did some stuff in Hollywood and actually worked for years to get his film put together and starred and directed it and everything. And but the work that he put into it is just
Yeah,
immense. Um,
yeah.
and the stuff he had to, eat ramen for a year was just
Jeez.
to
Oh my God.
get somebody to use the Foley. It's
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, that's the thing, is that you've got to get so many different people just to do what can be conceived as sort of simpler jobs.
yeah.
But in the film industry, I mean, those are essential things that need to be done.
Mm,
Um, Obviously, with if we look at, say, for example, Balatro didn't have things like voice actors and
right,
things like that,
right.
which I feel should be, in my personal opinion, should be treated exactly the same way as like film and television actors should be. I
Yes,
think voice actors are an integral part to the gaming industry and
yes.
should be treated as such.
Preach,
But
preach.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I really do think if you don't treat voice actors or if you don't respect voice actors for what they do, you will end up noticing it in the gaming industry. I mean, you'll notice things like sort of unqualified or less qualified voice actors coming in, where sort of better quality voice actors could have come in and done a sort of far superior job. And then we have the unfortunate thing, which is being talked about in
Oh,
a lot of voice actor places and a lot of artists and creative outlets at the moment, is things like AI,
oh,
which should stay as far away from the creative outlets as humanly possible, or as AI possible.
And now, if you go on YouTube and you fall for an advertisement on YouTube that's done with an AI voice, then
Hmm.
that's on you.
Yes,
'Cause no,
absolutely,
because
absolutely.
first of all,
It's
first of
yeah,
all,
it's really interesting.
we'll work for a cheese sandwich, okay?
Yeah, so true.
I mean,
You're just like, wait, you have a dog and I could pet your dog if I do these three voice lines? I'm in. Like,
that's right, that's right. I mean, in radio, it was the T-shirt doesn't fit. I don't care. It's a headband now. It's mine.
yes. It's like, wait, I can do a voiceover advert for like a toilet cleaning product and you'll give me 2 free bottles? I'm in.
Yeah, that's
Like,
right. Yeah, I'm all for that.
yeah.
So I mean, we're not that tough to find, and we're
No,
usually
really
yeah,
not. And
and
I think again it's that essence of respect the work that voice actors put into their jobs, because
yeah.
when you hear a really good voice actor, if I can sort of, I guess, shout out a voice actor that I really do appreciate, and I think he's absolutely brilliant, is Alex Jordan. He's a really good UK based male voice actor.
Hmm.
He did the voices of many sort of characters within Telltale Games. There was a Sherlock Holmes game that he voiced in, but recently he voiced a character in the game called Split Fiction. You know, that one that's just come out from
Yeah.
the creators of It Takes Two. He
Yes.
did a voice in. I'm not going to say exactly what it is because I don't want to spoil it if anybody's going to be listening.
Yeah.
But he's got a very distinctive voice, and when I was playing it, I was trying to guess which voice was his. And then as soon as I came across this character, I was like, no, that can't be him. That's like way too, like, it's way, like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then my chat told me, like, no, this is Alex. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's so talented. Like, how do
Yes.
you do that with your vocal cords? Like,
Yeah.
he sounded so different. And I think you should respect the amount of effort and practice and love and care that goes into this art form, because
Oh.
if you don't, then you're not going to get anything out of it when you do hire voice actors that don't put that care into it either.
Oh yeah. And with the accent on actors, because there are some folks with good voices who can't act their way out of a dime bag, and I
Yep.
and I have an okay voice. I mean, it's different, but it's
Hmm.
I could not act, and I couldn't change my voice and hit it the same way twice. I don't have that type
Okay,
of
yeah.
training. So I mean, I can read a commercial for a local grocery store. You,
Yep.
I'll do that. I'll read a news story, but but for these people to go through that type of training, first of all, I envy all of them, and second of all,
Hmm.
um, that's a lot of work when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
And how many takes are you gonna? It is that 5-word line that you're gonna read. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
but also
It's crazy.
with today's technology, you can do a lot of it at home.
Yeah, although I did hear that there were certain situations, especially during COVID, when certain voice actors didn't have like home setups,
Mm,
where you had people like radio presenters and voice actors where they would be under their blankets on their bed and they'd
yep.
have their microphone because it was the best soundproofing that they had.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's. I think we're getting a lot more people really coming up with new ideas for soundproofing once they realize the
Hmm.
benefits of just a little bit. You don't have to be in a rubber room, but just
No.
just don't do like I'm doing and talk directly into a window,
Yeah.
and it'll sound much better that way. But um, there's a lot of little things, but the people are going into closets and singing,
Hmm.
and it sounds fine. There's a lot of
Yeah,
good.
as long as you have your own little setup that
Yeah.
works. I mean, I've seen these things that you can get, which are essentially boxes that you put around your microphone on your
Mm,
desk.
yeah.
And they are soundproof boxes, and you put your microphone in it, and it's for people who do things like, for example, like ASMR streams,
Oh
or
yeah.
people who like need that sort of soundproofed section for their microphone.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh my gosh, that is so much work. And then the more and more I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so clever. Like, because then
Yes.
you don't have to soundproof an entire room. You just have to put it around your microphone. It's
E-
like, that's brilliant.
Exactly. 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 And the innovation is the word I'm looking for. Innovation
Mhm.
is going to continue. I think when people start learning, start learning the shortcuts,
Yeah,
and
absolutely. The one thing I've always struggled with on my OBS setup was the audio sort of setup on OBS.
yeah,
It's one of those things I was never able to get my head around.
yeah,
And if you look at some of my previous streams, you can tell like my voice is like so quiet, and then it like goes off, and then it peaks, and then it's just a running joke within my streams now that whenever I get excited or whenever I start shouting, my microphone peaks because I've still not understood how audio works in OBS. So if anybody listening knows how to level out your audio in OBS, please reach out to me. Okay, you can call me on Twitch, you can get my email, anything like that. I need help. Okay.
yeah. It's something that when and it was back in radio too. I mean, if you could have four microphones in a room and three of them are perfect and one of them is not, and it's so
Hmm.
different, and they're the same brand but one's been used more than the other ones, and
Yeah.
you know I mean we're talking behind the curtain here stuff with a lot of folks, but really you don't need the best microphone in the world if you're just going to
Oh
do
no.
talking. Mine isn't very
Hmm.
good, but but if you're going to sing, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you
absolutely.
otherwise you're going to sound like you're in the shower and somebody just turned on the cold. um,
Hey, some of my best singing is done in the shower. Okay.
yeah, and mine was too until the wife found out, and he's like, you really need to stop. As I haven't hit a note on purpose since 1984, so there you go. Um,
Ah.
yeah, well, I mean, every once in a while I'll hit my knee just right, and I think it's a
And
C.
suddenly it's operatic.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I think a C comes out, but I'm not sure. A lot of other things come out too. Um, but it's the talent that we're seeing come out.
hmm.
I've talked to so many people with great voices,
Mm.
and people who don't maybe didn't realize that they had great voices, and now
Yeah.
they're going to get the chance to show themselves, and people get to spread their wings a little bit and show their maybe they're a pretty good singer. They want to sing some covers. Uh,
Hmm.
Wonderful. Let's hear it. Artists, cooks, um, lots of science VTubers now. Um,
Ah, okay.
I'm all for this reminds me a lot of the old radio DJ days because
Yeah.
you can watch in the old radio DJ days you can listen to a certain song on 5 or 6 different stations. Um,
Hmm.
you can go on Twitch and watch 1,000 people play Minecraft. People are
Hmm.
coming back for the personality playing Minecraft or the
Yeah,
personality,
absolutely.
and once you started getting that with your VTuber streams, um, how did that hit you? I mean, you had audiences before, but this is a different sort of audience.
Yeah, I think for me, when I first started VTubing, I was quite nervous
Mm,
because it was it was a completely different game than what I'd played previously.
mm,
And to basically put and this is the different thing about me is that my VTuber is it's not a it's not a character as such. It's essentially me. I basically made a VTuber version of kind of what I look like in real life, but as a bunny. So I don't like hide behind, and I'm not saying people who do characters like hide behind characters, but I
right,
don't put the face on of the VTuber when I'm VTubing. I
right,
sort of stream as me, just with a character.
right.
And the one thing that I didn't let people know within the first sort of year that I was VTubing was that I was married.
Mm,
And it was because I think it was because that for me that was a little bit too personal.
right.
And when I became sort of comfortable with my community and I was like, do you know what? The regulars are showing up. Like I know that I can come back sort of every stream and the regulars will be there and I'll chat to them and we'll have this sort of like tete-a-tete that we'll have this like back and forth. Um and my anniversary was coming up. My wedding anniversary was coming up, and so I said to them, I was just like, yeah, so I'm gonna be away. And my husband's actually one of my mods in my channel, and so I was like, oh yeah, me and so and so are gonna be away, and yeah, like just it's just it's gonna be like a special day for us and things like that because it's an anniversary of sorts because I haven't told you guys that I am actually married, and everyone's like, I knew that you were married. I knew there was something going on between you two. And so it's just what that for me was when I really hit that moment of I've got a steady community here.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I've got the what I call the crumpets. That's my community name. Um,
Very British of
and
you.
oh yeah, very British, very very British. Of course it is. Um, and to be able to have like the regulars, and I'm sure that other VTubers can relate to have the regulars that come back every single stream, or even ones that sort of disappear for a couple of weeks and then come back and they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm sorry I haven't been here and things like that. And you're like, please don't apologize. I'm just like so glad that you've come back. I was like worried about you. Where have you been? Is everything okay? Like so to know people like by name or by username as such in Twitch chat is a really comforting thing.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that sort of the side that VTubers maybe don't talk about as much or don't touch upon as much is also, especially I guess for those that are putting on a character, is how lonely it can be as well, because you are essentially sitting in your room alone talking into a microphone and reading text off a screen.
Yeah.
And the low you can get after shutting down a stream is quite real, because it's that realization of, oh my gosh, all of these people, I've connected with them and I had so much fun with them, and now you have that realization of I'm alone, I'm here by myself.
Yeah.
So I think it's one thing to be a VTuber, but I think it's another thing to be a VTuber with other VTuber friends.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky that I have other VTuber friends that I can like reach out to and I can do collaborations with and things like that. And I think it's really important that as a VTuber, you do have those connections that you can reach out to. I mean, even if it's not for collaborations, just to turn around and be like, I had a really good stream today, or oh my gosh, like I'm probably not going to be able to stream next week, or I have no idea what to stream. Like just someone that you feel like you can have that connection with outside of going live is really, really important.
Kind of a confidant type thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm very lucky that I've got sort of a couple of people that I can reach out to, whether it be sort of like VTubers, non-VTubers, things like that. And my mods as well are absolutely brilliant. And I've had my mods ever since I think I had like a following of like 200 on Twitch, and I was like, right, I'm gonna get some mods, just because for me, because I have ADHD as well, it can be quite overwhelming to like moderate and stream and do all of this at the same time.
Yeah.
And me and my mods have gotten like really, really close. Yeah. And so even having like that little group where I can turn around and just be like, yeah, I think stream was really good today. What did you guys think? Really helps as well.
Yeah.
So I think it is very, very important that for VTubers to have that moment of, especially after stream ends, of, okay, let me reach out to someone and let me be like, oh my gosh, stream was great today. Or do you know what? I really feel like stream could have gone better today. Just have a talk with someone about it.
Yeah.
So that you don't have that immediate silence.
Oh yeah. And we talked a little bit before we even got started that you talk about mental health quite a bit, and you're open with it. The streaming can be great for it and also not be particularly great for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understating the obvious, including some of the recent events involving large, very large, like the largest VTuber. And I think people are sometimes kind of take it for granted that people are just turning the microphone and yapping, and sometimes it's very tough to get yourself up to keep doing that sort of thing, and maintain your own health. Has that ever been a problem for you?
Oddly enough, actually, yes. Earlier this year, I had a bit of a moment where I needed to take a stream break because I
Mm,
needed to focus on myself,
yeah.
and it was really interesting because throughout the last half of last year, I noticed in myself that I was sort of like mentally declining.
Mm,
However, I was pushing through, and I was like, no, if I can just do this, or if I can just do that, or if I can just make it to the beginning of next year, everything's going to be fine.
yeah.
Um, and when I look back on those streams, and when I watch those streams back, I can see, or I can also hear in myself that I'm not enjoying it. I'm doing it because it's kind of like what I have to do.
Right.
And I can hear that I'm like I don't have that energy that I now have on streams.
Mm,
And it's really I wouldn't say it's upsetting to look back on those streams, but it's one of those where I kind of want to grab my past self and just be like, take a break, like, like just take a step back.
yeah.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And I had the conversation with my community in January of like, right, I've really got to take a step back. I've got to like reassess everything, reassess my mental health, reassess my current situation,
Right.
and I'll maybe be back in 2 weeks. I might be back in a month, but I'll keep you guys updated.
Mm,
And I think the great thing is that I have such a supportive community because I have been so open about like my physical health, my mental health, and things like that.
right.
That they did turn around and they were like, take care of yourself. Like that's what comes first,
Yes.
and like our entertainment comes second. And I really did appreciate that. And when I came back, it was with such energy and such love for streaming. And now I don't put as much pressure on myself. So my schedule is I stream every Tuesday evening, Thursday evening, and Saturday evening.
Yeah.
But if, for example, I have like a family gathering on Saturday, or I've got a friend coming over to visit for the weekend, I don't put as much guilt on myself for turning around to my community and being like, right, stream's not happening this Saturday, whereas
Right.
previously I used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think my community is really to thank for that because they were so caring about it.
Yeah. Accepting it, and you get that kind of feeling of responsibility too for
Mm,
being their entertainment, their anchor, and their where they
hmm.
tie their boats on when they need somebody. But the ideal situation, I would think, would be having it a little both ways. Not a parasocial way, obviously, but
Hmm.
in a way where they realize that yeah, they're having fun with the streamer, but they're also human,
Yeah,
and it
absolutely.
and I couldn't imagine, especially for the larger streamers, super large streamers, what they're dealing with,
Mm,
um, and the pressure that they put themselves on,
yeah,
because they're actually making money,
yeah.
and that does make a difference. Has it is it still fun for you as a hobby, or is it a job? Is it a combination of both? Is it tough?
I think it's probably for me a bit of a combination of both.
Yeah.
Because I'm someone who loves routine. Like I like having a routine.
Mm,
And so having that routine of streaming every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday,
mm.
it it helps me sort of stay in a in a steady mindset. But also as well, Tuesdays are great for me because I have a situation where on Tuesdays I have no idea where the stream's going to go because I have something called Twisty Tuesdays, which is where a chatter, anyone who redeems it first can redeem a certain amount of channel points and get me to play a game that they want me to play.
Ooh.
So it's the first redemption and it's the only redemption that can happen. That only one person can redeem it on Tuesdays. So people like sometimes fight for it.
Ah,
And
that's a good idea.
oh, it's brilliant because I have discovered so many amazing games through Tuesdays, and it keeps it fresh, which is what I like.
Yeah.
But then on Thursdays, I continue a single player game that I'm currently doing. So at the moment we were doing a Pokemon Infinite Fusion playthrough, which I really enjoyed. But at the moment, we have just switched over to a game called Blueprints, which I am absolutely, it sucked me into it. It's an indie game. It's all about mystery and intrigue, and it's got puzzles. Oh, it's so good.
Oh.
Um, So I'm playing that on Thursdays at the moment. And then on Saturdays is what we call our community day. So that's where I play games with the community.
Ah,
So we play games like we do Final Fantasy 14 raids, or
right.
we play Repo or Jackbox or something like that. And I think through having the routine, but still kind of changing it up every Tuesday and Saturday, it keeps things fresh, which is nice. Because I feel like if I was doing the same thing every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, like if I was doing a really long playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, for example,
Right.
I feel like maybe I would personally get a little bit bored of it because it'd be like, oh, okay, I've got to play Baldur's Gate 3 again. I've got to play Baldur's Gate 3 again. Whereas switching it up and being a variety streamer really helps me. And like I said, with my ADHD, it helps me stay interested in what I'm doing as well. And
Right.
also my community is absolutely great because they chat with me in Twitch chat, and they're really active in my Discord, and it just really feels like I've got like a really nice little corner of the internet that we've made.
Yeah. Well, what would you do if you didn't have this? I mean,
If I didn't have streaming.
yeah, if like it was 20 years ago, and the best you could do was go on to one of those chat things and play very bad chess online in text form.
um as a creative outlet, I think I may have gone into writing and
Yeah.
maybe like been an author because before I was into technology and gaming and everything like that, I wrote poetry. I wrote a lot of poetry when I
Mm.
was sort of in my late teens and early 20s, and I was a published poet.
Oh my.
And yeah, I loved writing poetry.
Uh,
And so I think maybe that would be my creative outlet. But when it comes to I guess my yapping outlet, I probably would have stayed in radio for as much as I could
yeah.
because it I like talking to people. I like finding out new things, and
Yeah.
that's what I really like doing on my streams. Like I ask my chat, like for example, there's a lot of countries and religions celebrating Easter at the moment,
Right.
and I love turning around to people because I have people from loads of different countries in my chat, and I turn around to them. I'm like, "How does your country celebrate Easter? Like, how does your culture celebrate Easter?"
Yeah.
Because in Norway, there's a big thing about watching crime shows in Easter, and it's called literally Norskrim or Norskrim. And so yeah, they all get together and they watch crime shows around Easter, which is like very different from Britain, which is where we just eat our body weight in chocolate. So
I didn't remember that in the Bible.
yeah, exactly. Turning around and going, okay, that's a new one, but we'll try and learn about it. But I love knowing about how different cultures like do different things, like simple things like a breakfast. Like, what's the breakfast in your country? Like, what's a typical breakfast in your country? I
Yeah.
love learning about those different things, and
Uh,
we regularly have those kinds of conversations on my streams.
you get to be a radio host still.
Yeah, pretty much, actually.
Well, and really, it's that you're welcoming people into your program. You've gotten to build your own station, or I'll call it world, really, and everybody is that's there as a part of it, and you've allowed them to be a piece of the action, um,
Yeah.
and that's really obviously built you a really good following right now, a solid core.
Yeah, I am very, very, I guess, proud of the community that we've created. I think because I am such an open and honest VTuber, and I speak about, like I said, I speak about my struggles quite openly. Not to the point where it's like, oh, woe is me, I'm so sad or anything like that. But it's like I went through a major health physical journey last year. I had a major surgery in January,
Oh,
and I sort of when I got back into streaming, I was talking chat through like what it was like on a open and honest basis
yeah,
because I think it's good to turn around and be like, yeah, I'm really energetic all the time. I'm so super happy and everything's great. But I think at the same time, it's really good to be like a real person and say to people like, look, you're not going to be a happy 100% of the time, and that's okay.
mhm,
And it's one of those where I think if people see that you can do it, or someone that they're watching or they're connecting with on the internet can do it, they can possibly do it as well. So if you're very open about like physical struggles or mental struggles that you're going through, when they go through it themselves, they go, actually, no, like and I'm not saying that people should hold me up on a pedestal at all, but it's a case of, do you know what? If Kelly can do it, I can do it. Or if Kelly's lived through it, I can do that as well.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those where I admit that I'm not that strong of a person. So if I can get through it, you can certainly get through it, kind of thing.
Yes. If I can even do this, you can definitely do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of thing. Kelly, absolute pleasure talking with you, and I do want to have you on again soon.
I'd love to.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about moving from England to Norway, because that's kind of the opposite of what used to happen, where the Norwegians would invade England. That was
I'm paying back for our ancestors. I'm taking the land back. Like,
are you
those Vikings think that they can come to England? Hell, now we're coming back.
Have you set fire to any communities lately?
Not yet. I mean, I am a D&D player, so fireball is always an option. So
lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt.
Exactly.
Absolute pleasure talking with you. I'm glad we've been able to do this, and we got to talk again. And we'll set that up here pretty soon. But folks, we're gonna have the links to everything Kelly's Cranium's got in the description for this video, and I hope you agree with me that Kelly's someone you need to be checking out. Very entertaining person, and so much that they're able to give to the community. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Eric. Look forward to coming on again.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.